All right, law number 17. I'm loving this stuff. Let's get right into it. It is keep others in suspended terror, cultivate an air of unpredictability. People are thrown off and stay alert when they can't predict your next move. If they can't figure you out, they can't control or take advantage of you. When you're using this law in real life, you want to make sure that people don't know too much about you, that you're remaining mysterious. Because if you're remaining mysterious, they can't predict your next move. It's like chess. When you always play against a player that you never played against before. It's like pool. Playing with somebody that you may not even know is the third person that's played pool passionately against the world competition. Just stuff like that. You have to realize that there's going to be good people out there and people that just generally suck. Well, you don't want people to know that you're either. You want people to keep you in their heads as mysterious and that they're just going to be curious because it gives you the advantage. Let's get right into it. Here are a couple talking points. Control through confusion. When people can't predict you, they hesitate to act against you. You gain the upper hand because others don't know how to respond. When you are unpredictable, they're not going to know your next move. And that's what helps with the work environment specifically, if you stay mysterious and people don't know you that well. When people know you as the guy that sucks, they're going to assume that the rest of your work sucks. If that makes sense. But if people recognize you as somebody that does really, really well, they're going to assume you're going to do really, really well all the time. But what you have to understand is that it keeps you at a higher standard consistently at all times, which that's not you. When you're mysterious and unpredictable, they don't know where to gauge you. And you can use this with job interviews. You can use this with college applications. You can use this with anywhere you go, friendships even. When you're meeting new people, remain unpredictable. Number 2, stand out. In a world full of routine, being unpredictable makes you memorable. It creates curiosity and keeps people interested. People are stuck to a routine, like I was explaining before. Some of these laws relate to each other, which is very, very interesting. But like I was saying before, routine, go to work, come home, watch TV, pet dog, go to sleep. This routine, people do this all the time. And it becomes boring. But if people just see all of a sudden, go to work, start on that project, go on YouTube, upload a video, upload reels on Instagram, this different routine every single time, you become unpredictable, but also that you become memorable. A good example of this is Bad Bunny. When you realize Bad Bunny coming up, you realize his change in outfits, and then not only that, his style in music. He's very unpredictable in his music, if you've realized. He goes from one genre to another, but that's what makes him super popular, is his diversity in music. It's not in only reggaeton, it's in salsa, and it's in many other genres, rock, super, super interesting. And if you realize with the story of Bad Bunny, specifically when he first starts out, he starts out in a bachata band or in a salsa band, if you haven't realized that. But his name was under Benito. So that's why they gave him that nickname in some of his songs, which is super, super interesting because that was him back then. But that's what makes Bad Bunny memorable now, is his memorability. It's his things that make him stand out, that makes him different than everybody else. Number 3, disrupt expectations. People get used to patterns. When you break them, you get attention. It signals confidence in leadership. You can do this when you're as a teacher too. If you realize all the teachers at your school have a certain style of teaching, well, what is it exactly? It is literally getting up on stage or in a classroom. Good morning, class. Sit down. We're going to talk about this. So this is about this. This is the summary of this. Can you talk? Can you do this? The routine that you go through with classes, that's what makes you want to, knock out and go to sleep. Because you're hearing this repetition every single year. So what if I told you that same teacher was a little bit more energetic. Hey, come on, guys, let's stand up, do a couple stretches. Now let's sit down and digest in this book. This book is really, really funny, by the ways. You know, I farted in it, whatever. Just the difference alone and changing in pattern, disrupting patterns is healthy. It keeps people not bored with you. When you add, people call it a little bit of spice into your relationship, it keeps the relationship interesting. This is where I failed at when it came to dating. Is I was always constant in this routine, but what I failed to realize is that women do not like routine, bro. They do not like routine. They don't want to always come to your house every single day, not go out, watch a movie, go play mini golf. No, I'm talking about like staying at home all the time. It's boring. It doesn't disrupt the pattern. But if you're this person that is saying, well, let's go out to Japan, let's go out to New Jersey, let's go out to China, let's go out to Ohio, you know, if you have always something interesting going on, you're going to make it a lot better for you and your partner and the friends around you. Just don't keep a pattern. Number 2, we're going to go into school. Don't always speak, but when you do, drop something sharp and insightful. Mix up your study habits, your projects, or how you present ideas. Be the one no one can pin down. Avoid predictable behavior like always sitting in the back or only speaking when asked. So I realize those are 3 points in one, so let's just break them down. Don't always speak, but when you do, drop something sharp and insightful. You don't want to be the kid in class that's always saying, and then the answer that usually everyone says. What's the opposite of black? It's white. Or we'll talk about the main character in the Macbeth book, you know. Be the person that's always saying something sharp and insightful. What does this mean? It means saying this character because this character does this and that. But what I really like about this character, you know, you just make it more insightful and you're describing it in a more in-depth way. When you are answering, answer with depth. That's a better way to say it. Saying sharp in depth. Because people are going to want to go up to you and want to share ideas with you. And you're going to want to share ideas with them. But when you change that routine of answering like everybody else, good morning, oh, how are you? I'm good. How about yourself? I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. You might want to say, good morning, how are you? I'm doing fantastic. Yesterday, I did a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I just feel really motivated. I appreciate you asking. How was your day? You know, just giving it a little twist so people find interest in what you have to say. That's a good way. Mix up your study habits, projects, or how you present ideas. Be the one no one can pin down. So if I'm making a presentation about houses, for an example, because that's the first thing I saw, maybe people might say, well, this is a house in Torrington, Connecticut. It's worth $50,000. It has a garage. Be that person that says, well, this is part of Torrington. This is very interesting because of the fact that this used to be a haunted property back in the 1700s. I know the ghost was named this, and that. Ooh, spooky, you know. Make it interesting. People don't want to listen to the same thing over and over again. And that's how you separate yourself from other people. Last but not least, avoid predictable behavior, like always sitting in the back or only speaking when asked. Avoid predictable behavior. That's pretty self-explanatory. So predictable behavior can be sitting down in class, not answering the teacher, saying the same answers again and again, short speaking yourself. Instead of being in those predictable behaviors, one day just decide to yourself, I'm going to raise my hand and I'm going to answer this question very differently to everybody else. And usually when you can gouge the room and say, well, that person usually answers, I'm going to answer most of the time. And really dial down and focus in so that I can become a person above them, if that makes any sense. Because like the first law I was talking about is like never outshine the master. You always want to be the person that is, at least using this law number 1, is you want to be able to be the person that's raising their hand up and the teacher looking up to the next kid, if that makes any sense. If this person always is shining light in the room, in your classroom, or at work, knock them down. And you can do that by setting yourself apart from him and creating your own style of interest that impresses people. Definitely keep that in mind. Last but not least, we got work. Surprise with initiative. Volunteer unexpectedly, bring creative ideas, or change your routine. So be the person that takes initiative. If you're the person that's always sitting in the back, and that's a metaphor. If you're the person that always sitting in the back, be the person that goes up front and says, "Hey, can I do this for you? Can I do that for you?" People love people who take initiative to serve, and I think God wants us the same way. He wants us to be people that serve, but with an initiative. Because you can always serve, but you can always have this mentality of, oh, I gotta serve again. But if you have the mentality of serving and doing it first and you're motivated, it's gonna set you apart through most people. People mostly do things if it's a matter of an exchange for some type of work, some type of finances, some type of status. But don't be that person. What's gonna make you unique is the fact that you're helping, but not to get your back scrubbed, but just for helping. So keep that in mind. Avoid being overly consistent how you deal with conflict and task. Stay professional, but switch up your strategies. Self-explanatory. Stay quiet about plans until results show. Mystery builds respect. You want to stay quiet. We talked about this about the last video too, but we'll keep on going. Stay quiet about your plans. Not everybody has to get to know your plans. As soon as you tell people about your plans, they're either going to sabotage it, talk down on them, or they're going to give you other idea recommendations. You don't want either of these. These are bad, bad, bad things. You want people that are going to motivate you, give you really strict critiques. Those are helpful too. And the people that are always going to consistently support you. These are the 3 qualities of a friend you really, really need. But the problem is that most people today, they don't have this motivational mindset. They always have this thing about sabotaging other people's plans just because of the fact that they're not there. Almost like a point of jealousy, which is strange. But yes, that's that. What's here? Self-improvement. So that's my bad. Self-improvement. Break your own patterns. Try new routines. Read outside your usual interests. Take bold but smart risks. Break your own patterns. If you have a routine of what you're doing, switch it up. So usually I go to work every Monday, for an example. I get up, make my coffee, take out my dog, make breakfast, make my lunch for work, and go to work. So maybe instead of waking up at 7 o'clock, how about I start waking up at 5 o'clock? Just switch up your routine until you find something that really inspires you to keep moving forward. Because there's going to be days where you're going to wake up at 8, oh, I'm late for work, I got to rush, and this and that. But when you break routines, you realize your life starts changing very easily. How about instead of reading the Word of God and at night you start reading it during the day so you can just get it right out of the way? How about instead of doing something at night, like creating your YouTube videos at night, how about you just get it done in the morning? And these little things are going to start adjusting over time, and it's going to fit into a really, really good schedule for you, and you're going to feel like you're getting stuff done. Because if you're constantly in your same routines, you're going to feel like you're falling behind because of this cycle. So it's always good to switch up your routines every now and then. Keep personal goals to yourself. Let results speak. Reflect regularly and change what no longer works, even if it used to. Sometimes, and this is the last one, sometimes in life, it's good to give yourself the good mirror stare. And the Bible explains this as if you're readers but not doers of the word, it's like you looking at yourself at the mirror and then walking away from the mirror forgetting what you look like. It's kind of like the same way when it comes to not reflecting regularly. You get stuck in a routine that's brainwashing you. You want to make sure you're checking yourself regularly. Take a notepad, take a pen, and say, these are the struggles in my life that I'm currently facing, and these are the things that are actually working really, really well for me. And reference it back every week, every month, and check in with yourself. Because at this point, you have a reference point for every month to check in with yourself regularly and reflect. But then you also have a dream board too, which I have a video about it on my channel, where it has your yearly goals, what's planned out for the year, what am I hitting, what am I missing, and you're checking within that monthly too. It's always good to keep yourself accountable and changing. Life is all about change. Slowly increment change, not very spikeful change, because that's not formable. It's not maintained. It's very erratic. And the problem with change is if it's very erratic, it tends not to last long. It's like winning money very quickly. You're not going to save it. You're going to be gambling it. And the Bible explains a lot about that. So you want to check in with yourself, and don't be harsh, but be simple with yourself. Be easy on yourself at first. If you're realizing you're slipping and it's consistent, adjust to where you can change. Adjust to where you can change. Here's a couple tips, and we'll close out the video. Don't be erratic. Be unpredictable. Don't just do this just because you want to. Be strategic about your unpredictability. So, what do I mean by this? It's about doing a good job at work when the other person is doing bad. And this can get you a point ahead in management to get a raise. Just unpredictability. Like if you suck at a certain area, really, really study that area that the other person is struggling in too, and do it 10 times better than them. That's what's going to make you strategically unpredictable, is doing things better than the next guy next to you. Use unpredictability with purpose, not recklessness. Use silence, surprise, and mysterious as a tool, not crutches. Let your actions confuse, not your character. Always stand grounded in values. Realize where your values come from. You want to make sure that these aren't breaking those values. Like for me, I don't agree with the idea with manipulating people to get what you want. I believe in genuine honesty. But if this unpredictability is going to break that, then you don't want to use this in that way, because it's going to hurt your character. It's going to hurt the person that you are. You want to use this unpredictability to get advantages in the workplace, to get advantages in school, and everywhere else, So always pay attention to your surroundings and be unpredictable. That's going to be it for today's video. I love you guys so much, and I apologize for being distant for the past 3 days, but I had a Devo to get going, and a bunch of other things too. So let me know below what you guys think about this law, and we'll continue it with the next episode of the 48 Days to Power. And that was Law 17. I love you guys. Subscribe to the channel, and God loves you too. Peace out.